What would you do if your ex took everything but tried to take your child too? When Mark and I divorced, he took everything. The house, the car, most of the savings. He had the better lawyer, the better job, the better everything. All I had left was my daughter, Emily, and even that felt temporary. He promised to fight for full custody. Those words haunted me. I moved into a small one-bedroom apartment above a laundromat. The walls smelled like detergent and loneliness. Emily's room was barely big enough for her tiny bed and a desk, but she loved it. "It's cozy," she said, smiling like it really was. She was 9, too young to understand how much I was breaking inside. Mark never stopped trying to paint me as the unstable one. He'd send texts like, "You can't even give her a real home," or "She deserves better." When Emily came back from weekends with him, she'd have new clothes, expensive toys, and stories about his big house and new girlfriend, Rachel. I tried not to let the jealousy show, but sometimes I caught my reflection. Tired eyes, cracked hands from cleaning jobs, and it felt like he'd won. Then one Friday night, Emily came home unusually quiet. She went straight to her room, clutching her backpack like it held the world. I followed her and asked softly, "Everything okay, sweetheart?" She hesitated, then pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. It was a drawing. Me and her, sitting on our couch with popcorn watching a movie. Underneath it said, "My favorite place." I blinked back tears. "It's beautiful, honey," she nodded, biting her lip. "Daddy said we might move to another state. He said I'll have my own room and a pool, but I told him I don't want to go." My heart dropped. "You told him that?" She nodded again. I said I already have my favorite room. The next week, I got a call from my lawyer. Mark had officially filed for full custody. I felt my knees give out. That night, Emily and I sat on our couch, the same old secondhand one, and I told her, "No matter what happens, I love you more than anything." She didn't say anything. She just hugged me tighter than she ever had before. The court date came a month later. Mark stood there in his suit, confident, charming, while I sat clutching my hands. His lawyer listed every financial advantage he had, every shortcoming of mine, my small apartment, my part-time job, my lack of a car. When it was my turn to speak, I tried to explain how Emily and I spend our time together, how we read stories, cook pancakes on Sundays, how I always make her feel safe. But I could tell the judge wasn't convinced. Then Emily was called to speak privately with the judge. My heart pounded as she walked out of the room, holding a little folder she'd brought herself. 10 of the longest minutes passed before she came back, holding my hand and whispering, "It's okay, Mommy." The judge cleared his throat. "After reviewing both cases and speaking with the child, I've decided that primary custody will remain with the mother. Visitation with the father will continue as arranged." Mark's jaw clenched. He looked like he'd been punched. I didn't even celebrate. I just sat there frozen. Afterward, the judge told me quietly, "Your daughter showed me something." He handed me the same crumpled drawing, the one where we were sitting on the couch. She said, "This is what love feels like." I couldn't speak. Tears streamed down my face as I looked at Emily, who just smiled at me through her missing front tooth. Mark stormed out of the courthouse, muttering under his breath. I didn't care. He could have his money, his house, his pool. He could keep everything he took from me. Because the one thing he couldn't buy, couldn't charm, couldn't fake, was our daughter's love. That night, Emily and I went home, ordered pizza, and watched our favorite movie again. She leaned against me and whispered, "Told you we'd be okay, Mommy." And for the first time in years, I believed her.